Simon, honey, do you know when you'll be coming home? Your father doesn't seem like he's feeling too well. We decided to take him to the hospital. Do you think you'll be able to make a visit?
Oh, is it finally time to bid farewell to the old man? About time. I've waited years for this.
That isn't very nice. Why would you say something like that? This isn't the time to be joking around, honey. We need you here. Can you make it?
I don't know. I'm kinda busy. Maybe if I feel like it.
If you feel like it? What are you saying? Your father might be in critical condition. This could be life-threatening.
I said I'm busy. You can be so persistent sometimes. Oh, but if there's going to be other relatives coming to visit, don't forget to tell them that I'm late because of work. I can't have you telling stories and ruining my reputation. Got to make sure they still think I'm a great guy.
All right, I will. But, honey, I'm sure your dad would be very happy to see you. Your visit might be just what he needs to get better. We'll be waiting, okay? Be sure to visit as soon as you can.
Yeah, whatever. For God's sake, I thought taking care of the house was your job. And now you're bothering me with all these things I really don't care about. You should really do better. Aren't you supposed to be my wife?
All right, I'll try to do my best. But please promise me you'll come and visit once you have the time.
You home?
Yes, I'm home. Is something wrong? I thought you were taking a day off from work today. I can tell you've been very busy with your job recently. You had to leave during the middle of the funeral, and you didn't even have the time to say goodbye.
I'm heading home right now. I guess I should tell you that I quit my job.
What? Why would you do something like that?
Dad left a fortune. Haven't you heard? Actually, don't answer that question. I didn't know about it until now, so there's no chance you knew. Apparently, there's nearly $4 million left in his bank account.
Is that so? But I still don't see why you would just quit your job like that. There's no reason to.
You really don't get it? Jeez. Just what you would expect from someone who's poor. You can be so ignorant sometimes. Use your brain for once. Who needs to work when they have $4 million bucks?
I don't see where this is going.
Oh, but I do. I guess I'm just different from mindless peasants like you.
Are you calling me a peasant?
Am I wrong? You grew up poor, and I don't think you're rich right now. I'm going to inherit all of the money, Rose, which means that I'm going to become a millionaire. That's why I quit my job. Why work when you can have all the cash in the world? Maybe I'll start a new business or something. After all, I can do anything with the $4 million.
Do you really think you can start a business? That sounds difficult. Do you have any specific plans?
Don't act like you know anything about businesses. A brain-dead female like you wouldn't understand.
You sound very sure of yourself. But are you sure quitting your job was a good idea? Your company has always been good to you. Your salary was above average, and you never had any complaints before. They took proper care of its employees. Most people would probably die for a job like that. I hope you won't regret it.
You really don't understand a single thing, do you? Poor people. They just don't think the same way as millionaires like me. You're pathetic.
I think you're rather far from becoming an actual millionaire.
Poor people really are the worst. All they do is complain and kill the mood. They just can't understand how cultured people think. That's part of the reason why I hated living with you. Good thing we can finally end it.
Sorry, I don't think I'm following. Could you clarify what you mean by end it?
You can leave now. Get out of the house.
Get out of the house? But doesn't that mean...
Wow, you actually can use your brain. Yes, it means I'm kicking you out. I don't need you anymore. I am about to be able to get whatever I want with this money. I have no need for you. Not that you are of any use to begin with.
Wait, you're really going to kick me out?
Yes. Can't you read? It's pretty much a guarantee that I'm going to inherit Dad's fortune. I'm the oldest man in the household. I also made sure to take care of him these last few years. That leaves a good impression when we divide up what he's leaving behind.
But you didn't take care of him. I was the one who took care of your dad all these years.
So, you're not actually his family, though. You're my wife. As worthless as you are, if you took care of my dad, then good. That means that I taught you well. It also means that my brother had less chances of leaving an impression. I doubt he'd be getting anything. So, I'll be living a happy life with Dad's 4 million from now on.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but what you're basically telling me is that as soon as you thought that you were going to inherit the 4 million, you decided to kick me out of the house?
Yes, that's what I've been telling you for the past hour or two. I knew you were slow, but this is starting to get annoying. Anyways, now that you finally understand why I don't need you anymore, it's time to arrange our divorce. And no, you don't have to worry about the cost. I'll cover all the filing fees. I'll even pay you an extra 50,000 if you leave quickly.
Really? You're willing to do that for me?
I have money to spare, unlike you. But once you accept the money, that's going to be the end of the story. We're never going to have another conversation again, is that clear? I'll be busy starting a new life in luxury. I don't have time to deal with you.
Can I just ask you a few more questions? You seem eager. Were you planning this divorce for a while?
Of course I was. What's the point of being married to a woman who can't even give me a child?
But we didn't have time for a child. I was busy taking care of your dad, and you rarely came home.
Enough with your excuses. Just get out of the house, you hear? You'll have to get out eventually because I'm going to sell it.
Sell it? But why? It's full of fond memories with your dad. You probably have more than I do. Don't you want to keep it?
I'm getting ready to buy a new house, and I need that old house to help me pay the mortgage. I'm willing to pay you 50,000, so quit complaining. It might be a large sum of money for the likes of you to handle, but consider it as compensation for me cheating.
I knew it. You really were cheating on me all along. I'm guessing that means you'll be moving in with the woman that you were cheating on me with then?
Starting to feel jealous. Doesn't matter. You'll be out of the house, and you won't have anything to do with me for the rest of your miserable life.
It's only been 10 days since your dad passed away, and you're already making plans to sell this house. I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, but I can tell that you really don't care about your father.
You're talking way too much. I don't consider you my wife anymore. You don't have a say in anything. I suppose you want me to thank you for helping me take care of Dad. But that was the one and only thing you were actually useful for. Now that that's over, I have no reason to keep you. The 4 million is pretty much already in my pocket. Just be smart for once. Take the 50,000 and leave.
All right then. I agree with the divorce.
That took you long enough. I want you to pack everything up and leave the house by the end of the day. Is that clear?
Yes, I hear you. Fine. I'll get the documents ready and send them to you. Or maybe I can just leave them on the kitchen table when I leave. When will you transfer the 50,000 to my bank account?
The faster the better. My current savings should be just enough. I can't wait until I get the inheritance. 50,000 is nothing compared to 4 million.
Then you can transfer the money to me today. I'll be accepting that as compensation for you cheating on me. Thank you for taking care of me. Though there really isn't much to thank you for.
What the hell is going on, Rose?
What? I thought we weren't going to talk anymore after we got divorced.
I still haven't received my inheritance. Have you heard anything from the lawyers? You better not hide anything from me.
So that's what you contacted me for? I don't think you'll be getting anything, Simon.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't think you'll be getting a dime.
I don't get it. Where's my 4 million? I've been waiting.
I really don't understand how you thought you would be receiving anything.
I'm the oldest man in the family, now that Dad is out of the picture. I should be the one to inherit all of his fortune.
Roy left a will. You didn't hear about it?
Obviously not if I have to ask you about what's going on.
After the funeral, an executor from the court came to pay his respects. He was apparently named by your dad before he passed, and he was responsible for carrying out his wishes. We arranged a date where we could talk about the contents of the will. Don't worry about it. It's already done.
Why haven't I heard anything about it?
Because you were barely at the funeral. You left early, remember? We decided that there wouldn't be much of a problem without you, so we didn't bother contacting you.
What the hell?
According to the will, your dad decided to hand all of his fortune to me. It was very kind of him.
I don't have time for all this nonsense. Just tell me the truth.
If you don't believe me, why don't you ask your brother? He should be able to tell you a lot. After all, he is the one that was appointed to take over the family company.
Are you kidding me?
I suppose it doesn't really have much to do with you, since you were never really good at working in general. If I remember correctly, That's why you were working at another company, right? Anyways, your brother inherited your dad's company, and I inherited his fortune.
You inherited the 4 million? There's gotta be a mistake.
There's no mistake. For the past several years, I alone took care of Roy after his retirement. It wasn't easy, since you wouldn't allow me to hire help. The least you could have done would be to give me a helping hand, but you never even bothered to do that. Your dad kept silent about it, but he resented you for never lifting a finger or caring enough to help him.
Why wouldn't he say anything?
Why should he have to? You're his son. By the way, he also knew that you were cheating on me. I'm guessing that's the reasoning behind why he decided not to give you anything.
But the lawyer said that there was a fortune of 4 million.
There is. It's just that none of it is going into your pocket. I'm just guessing here, but I'm pretty sure the lawyer never said anything about you being the one receiving it. That will be all. We're already divorced, and there's nothing holding the two of us together. I have no intention of associating with you anymore.
Don't you talk to me like that, you pathetic woman. Why do you get to keep all the money? You're not even related to my dad. You barely even knew him. I should be the one receiving the 4 million. Not you. Me.
If I barely knew him, then why would I look after him all these years? If I didn't know him, I wouldn't do something like that, would I? The reality is I knew him much better than you did, especially in the last few years of his life. I think it's about time you came to terms with the facts. You're a horrible person, and this is what you get for your actions.
Okay, fine. I guess you knew him. Whatever. But that doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about right now. Stop going off topic.
Really? I think it has everything to do with it. You're the one who started the conversation about what happened to the money, right? So I'm just trying to be nice and explain to you how your dad was kind enough to grant me his fortune, and the reasons as to why you weren't able to receive anything from such a kind man like him. I don't see why you're having trouble following.
He's my dad, though.
Oh, now you care about him all of a sudden? I still remember when you didn't even bother to show up at the hospital when I called you. The only thing you did was attend the funeral, and even then, you left early and barely bothered to pay respects. Come to think of it, I don't think you even tried to act mournful. It's sad to think that you only thought of your father as a source of wealth.
That's not true at all.
I don't know. At the very least, that's the impression most of your relatives, your dad, and I got looking at how you usually behaved. But I guess it doesn't really matter. Regardless of what's true, just keep in mind that you won't be getting anything from him. Whatever you decide to do from now on, I don't really care. We're divorced. Just do it where I can't see you.
I'm going to make you regret acting so arrogant. And what about the 50,000 I paid you? What about that?
I thought we were clear about that. It's compensation.
What do you mean, compensation?
You're the one who suggested it. Compensation for you cheating on me. If you have any more problems, I would appreciate it if you would talk about it to my lawyers. I don't want to listen to you complaining all day long, and I also have nothing more to say to you.
But my money! Where's my money?
You should think about how you behaved. You were so busy with work that you barely came home. You rarely helped out with taking care of the house, much less caring for your father. Even when you were at home, you would just lie on the sofa watching TV all day, like a couch potato. Frankly speaking, I think both your dad and I had enough. We expected more from you, and I'm sorry it had to come to this.
It's not my fault. I was busy. Are you telling me that I'm not allowed to spend a day off relaxing?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But were you really that busy? Are you sure you weren't just going out with whoever you were cheating on me with? Judging from how well you are with your work, I doubt you had any important roles at the company. It's not just your work ethics that's a problem. It's also your values. If you think getting a divorce the moment you were getting $4 million was a good idea, then I have no words for you.
It's not like that. I had problems too. I was stressed out. I'm just not the type of person to show it or talk about it. Come on, there has to be some goodness in you. Share the inheritance with me. Don't you think it's wrong to keep all that money to yourself? I never knew you were so greedy.
What problems did you have? Care to explain? You barely put any money into the house, no matter how many times I asked. When I was having trouble making ends meet, you went on a solo vacation to Paris. And now you're asking me to give you a part of the fortune? I'm sorry, but I can't agree to that.
You knew about the vacation to Paris?
Yes, and there's a lot more secrets I know about you, so don't think you can fool me. There's no point in talking to you anymore, is there? I already moved out of our old house, just like you ordered me to do. If you want to sell it to buy a new house, then please, help yourself. I don't care. Just don't think you'll be getting much out of it.
But I invested like $1 million for the new house. I already got a mortgage. I was going to pay it off with the inheritance. Now what am I supposed to do? I'm broke.
I don't know, but don't ask me. It's not my problem. You're the one who offered the $50,000. I just accepted it.
But this wasn't the way things were supposed to go.
You really only have yourself to blame for all this. I think you should start looking at the hard truth, Simon.
I'm sorry, dear. I apologize for my actions. Please, forgive me. Just give me my portion of the inheritance.
Your father didn't leave you anything, remember? A portion of 0 is 0. You're not getting anything. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Everything your father left is safely passed on to the hands of your brother and me. There's nothing left for you. Please, enjoy your luxurious new life with your girlfriend.
But Rose, I don't have a job anymore. I don't have a job and I have a mortgage to pay. Your husband is having a hard time right now. Don't you think you should be doing your duty as a wife and help me out?
I'm not your wife anymore, honey. Did you forget? We had a divorce. I spent a large chunk of my life taking care of Roy. There's a lot of things I missed out on, and I think he realized that too. I'll be making up for the time I lost. I'm sure he'll want me to spread my wings. The first thing I wanted to do was get a divorce, but I didn't have the courage to bring it up. I was lucky you did.
Help me, please. Even if we aren't married anymore, we spent years together. We used to love each other so much.
But did you? If you did, that was a long, long time ago. The past several years was one of the hardest times of my life. I'm almost 40 now, but it looks like life will finally become better. I'm sorry to say that I can't say the same for you, Simon. Simon continued sending messages to Rose, but she never saw it. She already blocked him. The lawyers Simon consulted all told him that he won't get any portion of the inheritance, and that was when he finally realized that there was nothing more he could do. He was broke, and he was also deep in debt. He needed to accept his consequences. Once his girlfriend realized that he wouldn't be getting any money, she left him. The new house they were planning to live in has been taken away as well. Simon begged for help from Rose, Sydney, and other relatives, but they all decided against it, and Simon had no other choice but to find a new job. The only reason he was able to work at a reputable company before was because Simon's dad owed the CEO a favor, not because he was skilled in any way. He wasn't able to find a full-time job, nor a proper part-time job. The only place that was willing to employ him was a shady factory out of state. The working conditions were terrible, and he is currently forced to work day and night with little to no rest. On the other hand, Rose was able to start a successful business with the $50,000 she got for compensation. She decided to use the $4 million by investing in the stock market, where she also found tremendous success. A few years later, she would meet a kind gentleman who she would eventually marry and start a new life with. Rose was forever thankful to Roy for giving her such a great opportunity. She made it her life's goal that she would become happy and make her father-in-law proud. I guess people who aren't good at their jobs also have a hard time making plans about their futures. Use this as an example, and don't do what Simon did.
Are you going to be able to come tomorrow? If so, I'm really looking forward to seeing you again.
I'm still planning on coming tomorrow. I heard you had yourself a really beautiful house built, right? I'm sure that even Faye is really happy about that now, too.
Well, this is what Faye had dreamed of happening, so of course she's happy about all of it. If she wasn't smiling about the new house, then I'd really have no clue what she wants and would probably go crazy trying to figure that out.
Have you already gone and told her that I'll be coming over as well tomorrow?
I let her know once already. I said that you'd be around, even when I have my meeting. But I'll do my best to leave a lot of time open to you when you're around, so that we can all talk. We can talk more about all of that later on, as I'd really like to continue talking to you about those things from earlier.
Understood. I'll be coming by myself tomorrow, okay? But I'll make sure that next week I bring everything we talk about up with my leader and we'll discuss things.
Alright, thank you, Gianna. Although, having to be helped by someone like you is a little embarrassing for me.
What are you talking about, Gage? I'm your little sister and want to make sure everything goes well for you, just like you'd do for me if I needed the help. We siblings have to stick together in times like these, right?
Hearing something like that from you really warms my heart. But I still feel as though I should be the one responsible for my company. And now having you around helping me, I need to be more diligent in getting good results.
I'm hoping for that as well for you. But you're my older brother, so you'll be all right. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to seeing you tomorrow and seeing that new house. Gage is having a problem within his company and has gone to resolve the issue. So he won't be back home until after you've already showed up here, okay? That's what I'd heard from him as well. He made sure to tell me before I got into my car. I still plan on being there at the time I told you both yesterday. Is that all right with you still? I heard from him that you're going to be the one to show me around the new house while he's out at the office. But if he's going to be coming home later today, then I can wait for him, or even possibly come over another day if you'd like. What do you want to do? What are you planning to do by coming over to our house? Huh? I heard from him that you're planning on staying the night here and whatnot. But do you think you'll actually be getting anything from us just because we're both well off? Let me tell you right now, if you come into this home and start stealing from us, you're going to be in very deep water. What? Can you slow down for just a minute? Why are you starting to talk about me as though I'd be coming over to steal anything from you two? I have no reason to be stealing from you both, right? I'm just coming over to hang out and talk with the both of you as well as see the new house you both have. Well, think about it, Gianna. You're nothing more than a dirty janitor, right? Excuse me? And all janitors are both lowlifes and moneyless. And now that you've heard that your brother is a CEO, you think you can come over here and take our things? If that's what you're thinking, I'd like you to stand back and rethink your plans. Gage is my husband now, right? He doesn't have the time to take care of moneyless slobs like you anymore. Hold on a second, Faye. I think you have a bit of a misconception of me or something that's making you say all these things. Actually, I don't even know what you're trying to infer about me right now based on all that you've just told me. There we go. You can't even make up a good excuse. You know that I'm right about what I've said about your plan, and now the only thing you can say back to me is that I'm the one with a misconception and that I'm wrong. Well, to start, can you stop looking down on me for being a janitor like that? I'd like to know what's so bad about being a janitor in your eyes. It's due to janitors that the inside and outside of buildings like your husband's are so clean and well kept for everyone working in them. And for the most part, those that work for a cleaning and janitorial company are usually very proud of the work they do and want to do their best. What are you going on about? I feel bad for all you freaks that only have enough brain in you to clean the toilets of complete strangers all day long. The fact that you all are so daft that you can only make money from work like that is just depressing. Your brother ended up being the CEO of a very well-regarded company, yet somehow his little sister had to turn into a crap cleaner. That's so unfortunate for him. When I married him, I never knew he had a tragic little sister like you working a gross job like that. Tragic? That's a bit rude of you to say to me, right? Well, anyway, I'll be arriving at your house here soon, so we can talk more about all of this in person and hopefully clear all of this up. I think you have a misunderstanding of me, so I'd like for that to all go away with a quick explanation from me about who I really am and what my intentions really are. You sad sight! How does it feel to have toilet water thrown all over you like that? If this has taught you anything, then get out of my house and never come back here again. I am appalled. I heard that you were a pretty tough woman when it came to being nice, but for you to actually act out like that towards your own sister-in-law? I only came here today to celebrate my brother moving into a brand new house, but you're telling me that you threw all that toilet water on me just because I'm a janitor? What the hell were you thinking, Faye? I doubt that by asking you that I'll get an answer that I can understand, but I have to ask you at least once. Of course, a lowlife like you would never be able to understand any answer I gave you to that question. Now, to be clear, the reason for all of that was because a lowlife like you thought you could come into this beautiful house of mine. Your beautiful house? That's the house that my brother built, right? So what? Whatever he calls his is also mine, right? I know that you were having a pretty good time splashing all that water onto me and are feeling on top of the world right now. You're going to regret all of that real soon. Why should I ever regret what I've done to you? I was just protecting my beautiful house from a beggar like you getting in here. You actually think I'd let your lowlife butt in here? I don't care that you're my sister-in-law, Gianna. I had to throw that water on you to keep you from taking any of my money and things. Then I'll be halting my transfer of any more money to you guys. We don't need whatever money you think you have. And actually, what the hell do you mean you've been giving us money? Do you actually think you can do something like that for us? You are aware that my husband runs a very well-off company, right? Well, I'm sure you don't understand the whole picture right now, but I really didn't expect you to be this blind to what's all been going on around you. Huh? What are you talking about right now, Gianna? I'm going to do just as you've asked and head home. But be aware that the money I've been giving your husband to keep his company from becoming a burning mess will stop. Do you really expect me to believe that you've been giving my husband money to keep his company afloat? I'm going to let him know right now that you've gone home. And please, never come around my beautiful house ever again. I don't have time to cater to scum like you. Understood. I wish you good luck after this. What do you want with me now? Things have changed. Do you think you can start heading back to my house? No. Why the hell would I come back there? What makes you think asking me a stupid question like that after what you've done would be such a good idea, And what do you mean things have changed for you? Before, I didn't believe a word you'd said about the current state of things regarding you and my husband. But when I told him that you'd gone home already, he was furious. He kept saying I really screwed him over big time. He's on his way home right now in a panic, and I want to know what I should do about him. Why are you asking me what you should do right now about him? Why the hell is Gage freaking out so much right now? To tell you the truth, I am the owner of a cleaning services company, and for a while now I've been working with my brother to support his company with funding. I'm assuming that he's really worried about all of that right now. Huh? You're the CEO of a cleaning services company? I sure am. I see that you had been confusing me for just being a simple janitor this whole time, but I'm not the one cleaning and doing all that work. Rather, I'm the one running the company that employs people to do that work. And as for my brother's company, it's been on the brink of collapsing for a bit now, and I'd been planning on helping keep him afloat. And as for me coming over today, the reason was for me to talk with him about what to do next regarding the money I'd been handing him and his company. Of course, I was also coming over to celebrate you both moving into that new house, but the main reason was to talk business. No, there's no way that should be true. You're supposed to be some low-level janitor, Gianna. Your brother even told me that you work for a cleaning services company. And that's not wrong. The only difference is that I don't just work for the company, but run it as well as the company's CEO. How many more times do I have to repeat that to you for you to understand me? I get that a long time ago I had been working as a janitor and all, but that was just to learn about the field I'm working in and to understand how to run a company like this one. Is that so? I never heard a thing about any of that. So you're telling me that all of this was just a misunderstanding between us? No matter how you try and think about it, you did misunderstand me. But you having had little idea about who I actually am has nothing to do with me now. Because as of now, I can see that you're totally okay with throwing toilet water all over me because you thought I was a janitor. Well, that was just because I had a misconception of you. A simple misunderstanding. Normally, I'd never actually do anything as rude as that to anyone. You could even call that a joke of sorts. I just assumed you were coming to steal things from us, and that since you were supposedly a janitor, the whole splashing toilet water over you would be a good form of defense. I think a person like you won't have much more of a future anymore where you're still married to my brother now. Huh? What does that mean? I'm saying that after this, I don't think you and him are going to have a successful future together. I doubt he's the kind of guy to allow a witch like you to be by his side. Actually, I know a guy like him won't allow that. I don't really get what you're talking about, but I'm saying that now that my brother and I have a good idea of the person you truly are, we're no longer going to want to have anything to do with you. And really, I don't even have the will to help him with his company any longer, so I'll make sure to let him know that here. Hold on a sec, Gianna. You're joking about actually telling him what happened between us, right? He's already furious with me about sending you home, but if you go telling him about the reason for that, he'll explode and take me down with him. And none of that is anything I'm worried about at the moment. Gianna, let's take a moment to let the air cool between us and talk this over again, okay? How about we both just forget about everything that happened earlier? I'm calm right now, Faye. And the air has remained a very comfortable temperature for me so far. And unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to forget what you just did to me. You literally threw a bucket of toilet water in my face when I walked through the door and started laughing at me when you saw my face. Only those with the most twisted of souls would ever do that to another person over them having a job as a janitor. You really want me to forget that? Think about it. There's really no way to forget any of that. I told you that you're wrong about that. Please, listen to what I've been trying to tell you. I really had no clue that you were such an amazing person before I did all of that to you. I just had the idea that you were some failure that's had to live life working as a scummy janitor was all. What I did to you back then was all due to the thought that you were nothing more than a lowlife. Oh God. You think that I'm going to follow your reasoning for all of that? What you're telling me is that you really do hate those that you deem to be lowlives, including janitors. Huh? That's not what I meant by that. Well, with that kind of thinking, you've basically just told me that you hate everyone that works for me in my company, and that they're all scum and have no money. You wouldn't want me telling all of them that now, would you? I'm really confused right now. What the hell are you thinking, talking about people that you know nothing about like that? I'm sorry. I didn't think that you and my brother would be getting this upset with me over what I said. It's just, when most people think of a janitor, they think of someone working a pretty low-level job and someone that's never graduated from college. I'm sorry that my thoughts got to me so easily. But now I can see you're not some low-life scum, but a very successful CEO. So you don't have to worry because I'd never look down on someone that runs their own company and has a lot of money from it. So can you calm down now? I'm your friend, after all. You must not understand the definition of friend, then. Because to me, and anyone else looking at this situation, you're anything but a friend to me. And at this point, I've already let my brother know about everything from today. Huh? What do you mean by everything from today? Well, I started by telling him about how you threw a bucket of toilet water on me, and then about how I will no longer be helping him by funding his company. I also made sure he knew that as long as you're with him, I'd never come around him again. And that he would no longer be getting any kind of help from me ever again. Why would you tell him things like that? You're making me look like the bad guy for some reason. I'm not sure why you ended up the way you are, but after what you've done to me today, I think it's totally acceptable of me to label you as a bad guy of sorts. I told you I understand, though, and I'm apologizing to you now, right? Why are you being so heartless towards me after all the effort I've put into apologizing to you? Are you telling me that you don't want to make up with me after that? What do you mean by us making up? And do you think after all you've done to me, a simple apology is going to get me to forgive you? We're not kids anymore, Faye. You even ended up saying terrible things about the employees working for me, so I'm definitely not forgiving you for that, as I'm sure none of them would. Now, if you want to discuss what's going on right now some more, you can wait for Gage to get home and talk with him. I have nothing left to say to you now, so that's that. Wait a second, though. Gianna, this is all really messed up, right? If you leave things the way they are, I am 99% sure that Gage is going to kick me out of this house. And I'd have to say that that'd be the correct choice when it comes to handling you. Are you kidding me? Why would you say something like that now? Was what I did really that bad? I think you're going a little overboard by saying all of that crap about me. Come on and do something about this, Gianna. Right now, our marriage is on the line, and you're the only one that can do anything to save it. Don't you want to help your brother stay happy? The only reason for your marriage being in danger is due to you being a terrible person, Faye. Now figure something out and try your best to avoid losing your husband. You already told me that I'm not allowed around your house since I'm a lowlife. But if you're thrown out by my brother, that must be because you're more of a lowlife than even me. That would only be fair though, right? Since you made that rule up. Are you really going to say things like that? I apologized for cleaning your face off with that toilet water already, right? I promise I won't say anything bad about you anymore regarding your job, okay? So please, just freaking forgive me. No thanks. But hey, this all matches exactly with what you said about me. I'm a lowlife, and letting your marriage fall apart is definitely something a lowlife would allow to happen. At least I'm not the one that'll be going through hell here soon, so have fun, you witch. In the end, Gage made his way back home with his face beet red, telling Faye to get out of his house without even giving her a chance to retort. Once he had her outside, he then went and locked all the doors and proceeded to grab all her things and toss them out the window for her to take. Then the following day, he began the process of divorcing her. Faye hasn't had a job of her own for a very long time, and so her pockets were empty leaving that house, and has since been on the streets trying to figure out what to do next. But this is all well-deserved after all the horrible things Faye said and did to Gage's little sister Gianna. Luckily for Gage, after he had gotten rid of and divorced Faye, Gianna came back to him and said that she'd continue to help fund his company. I'm sure she never wanted to threaten him with ending the flow of money to his company, but it was the only way to get him to throw Faye away, which needed to be done after what she'd done to Gianna. Anyway, Faye is going to be on the streets for a long time now following these unfortunate events. But hopefully, while she's going through hard times, she begins to learn the importance of everyone, even those that she considers low lives, like herself.